You're watching ABC10 Plus This Week.
Hi everyone, I'm Walt Gray. You're watching ABC10 This Week. A deadly shooting moments after a graduation ceremony prompts community mourning and increased security concerns. In dollars and cents, from bills to savings, we have budgeting advice every new graduate should know. Then we hit the back roads. John Bartel takes us to Santa Cruz, where we'll catch some waves at the Surfing Museum.
We start tonight with developing news. New video shows the tense moments following a deadly shooting outside a high school graduation in Fairfield.
A person who attended the ceremony Thursday night shared this video with ABC10. It was taken moments after the shooting at the Fairfield High School parking lot. In the video, you can see people gathering around someone lying on the ground who appears to have been shot.
You can also see bullet holes in several cars. The chaotic scene unfolding around 7:15 last night. Police now say 1,000 people were at that graduation.
And the search continues tonight for the suspect who opened fire after the graduation ceremony, killing an 18-year-old and injuring 3 others, including an 11-year-old child.
The Fairfield mayor says police are now interviewing hundreds of witnesses. ABC10's Garshpal Sangha joins us live from Fairfield now with what we know about the investigation so far. Garshpal.
Yeah, Chris and Laura, community members have been coming by this evening to pay their respects to the victims of the shooting, and that is the growing memorial that you're seeing behind me. This is in the parking lot of where that shooting happened. It was meant for a night of celebration for the graduates, but it ended up in gunfire and nightmare. Now, Fairfield police say they're still searching for the shooter, and while the community mourns an 18-year-old graduate whose life was cut short. What was meant to be a celebration ended in gunfire. The parking lot where an 18-year-old was killed and 3 others injured sits quietly. But Fairfield Mayor Catherine Moy says the investigation is anything but quiet. The 18-year-old student died in his gown.
This gunman, was very close, and it was targeted from what the police are telling me, but they're not telling me why. That's what they're trying to find out.
Moy says a pastor who knows the victim's family is helping them through this tragedy. Meanwhile, investigators continue searching for the suspect. The mayor says police are collecting cell phone and surveillance video as they pursue leads.
They will get him because I do know that some of the 300 witnesses that they've spoken to so far, that they know. And so they'll get him. They're going to get him. And I'll tell him, young man, turn yourself in. It's not going to be good for you to keep running. Turn yourself in.
Just one day later, graduation ceremonies across Fairfield Sassoon Unified continued.
In light of the tragic events that occurred last night at San Miedo's graduation.
At Armio High School, students and families observed a moment of silence before celebrating the class of 2026. Parents there say the community is determined not to let violence overshadow the accomplishments of local students.
We just got to keep them in our prayers and come today and have the celebration to show that we're not going to let those type of things stop us from celebrating great.
Increased security presence from Fairfield police could not be missed.
Having them here gives everyone a peace of mind, especially what happened yesterday. So I welcome it. I'm pretty sure the parents and the students and the families are welcome it too.
The community focusing on healing and finding the person responsible.
To have justice for all of them, and that doesn't bring the child back. The young man, it doesn't bring back all of the pain that they all feel. The people who are running for their kids, you can't take that back. I wish I could.
It is an emotional event this community is trying to overcome. Now, the mayor in that conversation also had mentioned that no officers were at the graduation last night, and she said there was no request made from the school district to the police department. Now, the police department released a statement about an hour and a half ago. They're saying that's not true. That's not all the way true. They say a request was made, but it didn't go through the right channels. So that's why it never got to the police department. So that's why there was no police officers at the graduation. So as they conduct their investigation, they'll be conducting their investigation to see how the protocols went to why no police officers were at this graduation. So you can see over the next few graduations, there'll be heightened alert from law enforcement officers. Now, Mayor Moy also did mention that the three victims, the 11-year-old, 20-year-old, 25-year-old, remain in stable condition tonight. So that is the good news, but they're still trying to find that shooter. Reporting live from Fairfield, Garjpal Sangha, ABC 10.
My goodness, our thoughts are with all the victims and their families. Keep us posted as you learn more about this investigation. Garjpal, thank you. We start tonight with the stabbing in Modesto that left a family dead, including a baby. Today, the suspect, 28-year-old Joaquin Escoto, faced a judge for the first time. ABC 10's Gabriel Pores was there and joins us now live. And Gabriel, I know it was an emotional day in court.
Yeah, Chris, an emotional day, and it was a packed courtroom. Family members told us they just had to be here today. This is all still so fresh, and many of them wept as the man accused of killing 3 generations of their family walked in. For the Nunez family, there are no words
to really explain the pain,
especially seeing the person who police say caused it. Shackled at the waist, 28-year-old Joaquin Escoto faced a judge Monday for the first time since police say he killed 3 generations of Sofia Nunez's family.
We don't understand why he did this to our family.
Modesto police say on Thursday, Escoto stabbed 54-year-old Maria Silvia Nunez Villalobos, her 23-year-old daughter Fabiola Gonzalez Nunez, and Fabiola's 2-week-old son Mateo Gonzalez. All 3 victims died.
No.
In court Monday, Escoto's public defender entered a not guilty plea on 3 counts of murder, child assault, child endangerment, and DUI.
It's very hard being here today, seeing the person who murdered our family, and I feel like it's just devastating.
And the Department of Homeland Security says it should have never happened. In a statement Monday, the DHS said that Escoto was in the country illegally and had already been deported once before.
We want justice. We want justice for what he did to them. My sister was caring. My sister, she would always cook for us, and we would ask her to cook for us. She was always there. My niece, she was always there for us. She was a happy person. He cut her wings. She had a whole life in front of her. She had goals, she had dreams, and it's very hard.
A hard time, and for this family, a loss of words.
There's no words to really say how our family's feeling. We just hope that God gives him what he deserves.
Now, Immigrations and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, has placed a detainer for Escoto at the Stanislaus County Jail. The judge today said no bail in this case. Meanwhile, that family is now holding fundraisers and car washes, trying to recoup from this unexpected, unimaginable loss. Chris?
My heart just breaks for that family. Gabriel, we thank you.
A McDonald's manager in Yuba City recovering after police say his co-worker threw hot oil on him. Now that man's mother tells ABC 10's Jeanine Wynn he's recovering. They're still trying to piece together why it happened.
Oh, my son is a God-fearing. He would give anything to anybody. If he had $5 in his wallet and you needed it, he would just give it to you.
A positive light in her life. That's how Amber Smith describes her 20-year-old son, Jacob Smith. But now he's fighting to remain positive after police say he was attacked last Saturday.
He's got second-degree burns over 22% of his body. He was in excruciating pain yesterday.
Jacob is a shift manager at a Yuba City McDonald's. Last Saturday, Yuba police got a call that Jacob was attacked by another employee.
The victim was up, walking around, ambulatory, and able to communicate with them, but had obvious burn marks on his upper torso and his face area.
Police say the suspect, 23-year-old Jelani Blewett, threw hot oil on Jacob. Police say Blewett left the McDonald's before they got there. Shortly after he took off, the Sutter County Sheriff's Office released this missing person flyer saying he's at risk due to a, quote, diagnosis and vulnerabilities.
He was contacted and arrested by the Sutter County Sheriff's Department on June 1st, a little after midnight.
Blewett is currently in custody at the Sutter County Jail facing multiple charges. Police say it's still unclear if there was a motive for the attack.
The arraignment was yesterday in the Sutter County Court, which time he was held to answer on assault with a deadly weapon, mayhem, serious felony assault resulting in great bodily injury. And he was held to answer on that at the arraignment, and currently he's being held in Sutter County with no bail.
Smith says her son is recovering and staying positive. She's started this GoFundMe page to help pay for his bills, and she's grateful to the community for all the support her son has received. Jeannie Nguyen, ABC 10.
So the Sutter County Sheriff's Department says they first reported Blewett as missing because it was reported by family. They also say he does have a disability, as Jeannie said, but they would not essentially confirm to us what it officially is.
After deadly accidents and a parent also being charged in a case involving an e-bike, Sacramento County neighbors are demanding action. ABC 10's Garshpal Sangha went to a community meeting in Carmichael tonight, and he joins us live in the studio now with the latest.
Yeah, Chris, the devices are growing in popularity, but so are the complaints. Now local leaders, law enforcement, and riders are looking for solutions. E-bikes and e-scooters have become a dividing topic across the Sacramento region. That's why more than 100 people filled a community meeting Monday night in Carmichael, hosted by Sacramento Supervisor Rich Desmond.
The damage we've seen to our natural areas, destroying our natural resources, so that again can be up to a misdemeanor.
Those concerns aren't just coming from pedestrians. Bob Kendall with Sacramento Bike Hikers says he has seen problems firsthand on local trails.
I see it all over the place in Folsom and Roseville. If you collide with one of those, that's a problem.
And some riders worry the fastest machines can cause serious harm.
These e-motos and modified e-bikes can become deadly weapons. And we've tragically seen that already happen way too many times in California.
Those warnings come as California's Attorney General continues cracking down on illegal and modified e-bikes. After several deadly crashes, Amazon stopped selling some high-powered models in California, and in Southern California, prosecutors have taken measures to another level.
There have been a couple of cases down south where parents are now being charged, whether it's contributing to a delinquency of a minor, child neglect, child endangerment, for letting their children ride on these things and ride recklessly and cause injury to others.
And a lot of the questions
For those at Monday's meeting, the goal isn't just enforcement. It's making sure parents and riders understand the rules before another crash happens.
If you're a parent buying an e-bike for your child, make sure they're using it in a way that is consistent with what the law requires, and understand that ultimately you're responsible for how your child uses one of these devices.
And as some proposed rules go through the state legislature, Desmond says he's working with county staff to see what local rules, if any, can be changed to improve safety and help prevent more serious incidents in the future. Chris.
Garshpal, thank you.
Graduation season is here, and it can be an exciting and overwhelming time, especially when it comes to knowing where to start in managing your money. A finance expert I talked with says it all starts with making a budget.
Daniela, they are stepping out into a new world with new financial responsibilities. How can they best prepare?
It's such an exciting time to be a graduate. There's so many great things happening. And sometimes what makes new graduates feel the most overwhelmed is not really knowing where to start, right? My number one piece of advice for new graduates is to start with a budget and really understanding how a budget works, what the goal of a budget is.
Daniela Alvarado, Senior Program Manager of Financial Education with Golden One Credit Union, says budgets for new grads shouldn't be too restrictive. She recommends looking at how much you spend, how much money's coming in, and how much room you have to save some money for your goals.
What are some of the top mistakes that our recent grads may be making?
One of the most common mistakes that they make in establishing a budget or just really looking at their finances is that they treat a budget as a one-time exercise. They feel really motivated and excited maybe at the beginning of the month, but then they kind of forget about it. Treat that budget as a living, breathing document.
Alvarado says if it's feeling too restrictive, make some tweaks here and there. Be sure to give yourself a 15-minute budgeting check-in every once in a while.
When it comes to staying on track with our finances, I highly recommend automating what we can.
Alvarado recommends setting up an automatic transfer to your savings account every time you get a deposit, like from your paycheck, for example. Also, automate payments on your bills.
We're able to automate, those minimum payments. It's less stress on the graduate and more intention in the way that we're able to manage our finances.
Alvarado also says establishing an emergency savings is crucial for new grads. She recommends starting small. For example, making a goal to save 3 months' worth of renter's insurance. Once you've saved enough for that, move on to your next largest bill, and so forth. For more budgeting advice, you can stream all of our Dollars and Cents coverage on the free ABC10 app and email me your money questions at lpainter@abc10.com.
After years of dangerous sideshows taking over San Joaquin County intersections, county leaders are considering a new approach to stop them before they start. ABC10's Gabriel Porra is showing us how officials are testing design changes at some of the county's most troubled intersections.
Smoke fills the air as crowds watch what happens in the middle. Cars doing donuts and tricks at illegal sideshows, right where Alpine and Delaware Avenues meet.
Every week, almost every 2 weeks.
Teresa Margarito's salon in Stockton is normally closed when those sideshows happen out front, but she still sees the impact.
So I didn't see, but I see the spirit, the donuts over there in the middle.
From skid marks and road damage to trash, debris, and impacts on nearby businesses, sideshows have taken a toll, and now county leaders say they're looking for ways to stop it from happening again.
A couple of years ago, we started working with the community and the county leadership to address sideshow activity at the intersection.
This is what they came up with. It was just installed Tuesday.
We decided to do what we consider to be centerline hardening. And so this puts like a mountable curb along the center line to prevent sideshows.
Do you think it's going to make a difference?
I hope, yeah.
County Supervisor Mario Gardea, who represents the area, hopes these changes will do just that. He led the effort to reconfigure the intersection. Gardea was not available to speak on camera today, but told me over the phone that if the design works here, the county may expand it to other sideshow hotspots.
Yeah, so we are considering this to be a pilot project. So we will be observing this and monitoring this location for about 2 years. The materials were right around $6,000, and then it took about a couple of hours of our labor to install them, so it was done within a day. This is the first time we've done this type of implementation within the county.
A first-of-its-kind approach for the county, giving a community that has dealt with years of sideshow damage and safety concerns a reason for optimism.
I hope whatever they do right now, they help for everybody.
In Stockton, Gabriel Porras, ABC10.
County leaders say they got this idea from similar intersection designs in the Bay Area, and neighbors tell us they're also hoping the changes will help deal with the problem of people not stopping at the stop signs.
I'm in a senior community, and one of our cell towers in the neighborhood went down, and we were not able to make and receive calls.
Margie sent 10 on Your Side this message saying, I'm writing to report a significant service outage affecting Pine Brook Village in Folsom. I visited Verizon locations in Folsom and Granite Bay, but the issue remains unresolved. This is a 55-plus senior community, and many residents are currently missing medical appointments and are unable to communicate with caregivers. We are now on the 9th day of this outage. Margie says she got this notice from Verizon saying there is a known issue in this area and we're working on a solution. Most issues are resolved within 12 hours.
And so something that was supposed to be just a matter of hours turned into several days.
Yes. And I had gone to Verizon because I thought I was having a problem with my phone. And so I went there and my phone outside of this area, the phone worked fine.
10 on Your Side went straight to Verizon for answers, and within 24 hours, the issue was resolved. They sent this message saying while performing network improvements in the Folsom area, some customers may have experienced a temporary service disruption. The issue was resolved yesterday afternoon. We appreciate our customers' patience as we work to improve their experience.
Absolutely amazing. Thank you very much. I mean, we got the ball rolling and you took it and we're up and running, and I'm very, very thankful for that.
Do you have a problem and don't know where else to turn? ABC10 is here to help. Email me at onyourside@abc10.com.
We are approaching 250 years of American independence in July. ABC 10's Alex Bell joining us now to share stories of resilience.
Yeah, tonight, decades after returning home from Operation Desert Storm, local Marine John Patricio is facing a different fight. And it all goes to show that the human spirit is capable of far more than we believe sometimes.
Okay, here we go. We're going to start the walk.
Right, left, right, left.
John Patricio spent decades fighting battles most people never see.
Left, right.
One tested his body and his will to keep going.
We'll just stand right here for a second.
Okay.
And we're going to walk.
Life wasn't always like this.
One.
Decades before, John joined the Marines.
I enlisted in the Corps and I went to the infantry.
Then came Desert Storm.
What I wasn't prepared for is when the track doors opened up, there was a bunch of fires in the battlefield everywhere. And I thought, oh my God, here we go. Breathing the air, feeling the air in your lungs.
John got an infection while overseas.
That fungal infection in my lungs disseminated, went to my brain, and gave me fungal meningitis.
During his second enlistment, doctors told him it was chronic.
Medical came back and said, you're going to relapse. We're going to medically retire you. Broke my heart.
What followed was a battle that would last decades.
By the time it was all said and done, we had 6 surgeries, brain surgeries, within a 4-month period. But I survived. I got healthy. I got better. And I started to live a normal life again.
Years later, the disease returned again and again.
In 1998, and I had to have a spinal cord surgery to put a shunt there. 2018, I started to have issues walking. My issues were like, I call them spaghetti legs.
By then, John was a software engineer, started his own company, and raised a son with his high school sweetheart and wife, Ami. They had a choice to make, a life-threatening surgery to remove the shunt or lose the function of your legs. John chose the risk he could live with.
So from 2018 to October 2021, I downgraded from walking funny to walking with a cane, to walking with the walker, multiple falls, multiple ER visits.
John says he battled depression, a war inside his own brain.
It would have been easier to just leave the planet and then let everybody not worry about me.
That is our grandchild.
He'll be 6 weeks tomorrow.
John says it was his family that kept him here.
I have a wife who loves me. I have a son that's beautiful, young man.
The VA connected him with therapists, adaptive sports programs, and a recreational therapist. John began standing and walking again with the help from an exoskeleton.
So my son was my initial trainer. I'm looking at my son eye to eye while standing. And I went, I love you, Jake. Because I love you too, Dad. We're going to do this.
Now John is sharing that hope, starting a nonprofit to help others find mobility, resources, and support. His group's name, a Marine Corps mantra: improvise, adapt, overcome.
When you have a mission and something gets in your way, you don't just turn around and go home. What you do is you improvise, you adapt, you overcome. And that's what I'm doing. I'm not giving up and I'm not surrendering.
John also wrote a book called Improvise, Adapt, Overcome to help empower people dealing with injuries and major surgeries and trauma. You can learn more about his group's mission at IOAF.org. You can also look for this story over at ABC10.com. I also just want to say that John and his wife, thank you for being gracious enough to let us into your home and to share this story. It was just such a joy to meet them and just really see how motivated John was about his recovery. So.
Yeah, and not just talking about, being able to walk and look at my son's eyes, but the depression that came along with it too. The dark side and then the bright side too.
And wanting to help other people at that, So we text a lot, and you can just tell when somebody has a really good heart. He's one of those people.
Yeah.
Good presence about him too.
Yes.
Alex, thank you.
Thank you.
California is known for surfing, and this little coastal town is where it was made famous.
Well, it's the birthplace of surfing in California. John Bartel here, making a little pit stop at the Santa Cruz Surfing Museum.
Jumping the cliff at Steamer Lane is almost a rite of passage for any young surfer in Santa Cruz.
This is one of the best surf spots of the world. It's really famous. People know all about it.
The reason it's so famous is because people have been surfing here since 1885, after 3 Hawaiian princes introduced the sport to locals while on vacation.
They brought surfing here, and they'd actually made the boards.
Bob Pearson and Kim Stoner are the founders of the Santa Cruz Surfing Museum, which chronicles Santa Cruz's lengthy and sometimes odd surfing history. What are they wearing?
They're all wool sweaters.
They're swimming in wool sweaters?
They used those to stay warm because there was no wetsuits in those eras.
When the Hawaiians first introduced surfing, they used heavy boards made from solid wood that often weighed hundreds of pounds. It looks like some of these wooden boards, you had a high risk of getting slivers in your feet there.
Yeah, redwood slivers aren't very good.
Bob Pearson is a world-renowned surfboard maker and likes to show museum visitors the progression of surfboard manufacturing.
Years and years ago, there was no fins on boards. So these things act as little fins that hold control.
Surfboard control is something that Bob has mastered. In his younger years, he surfed at Mavericks Beach, which is home to some of the largest waves on the West Coast. And because of his experience, he was asked to make boards for the 2012 film Chasing Mavericks.
What are you talking about? The biggest wave in the world, Mavericks. It's real.
I made them all the boards for the movie, 240 boards.
Bob also acted in the film alongside Gerard Butler and Johnny Weston.
It was all about the local surfers. It was a good story about them. It was accurate as hell. It was a great movie.
More than a dozen surfing-related movies and TV shows have been filmed in Santa Cruz, including Beautiful Wave, Back to the Beach, and Swell. The reason they filmed here is because the waves are consistent.
The nature of the winds and the cliffs here keep this glassy. The kelp keeps it glassy and you get these big swells coming so it doesn't blow out so easy.
The Surfing Museum is not only a tribute to the sport, but the athletes as well.
Right on.
Many of the kids surfing in Santa Cruz today are about the same age as the 3 Hawaiian princes that first surfed these waves back in 1885. From the Santa Cruz Surfing Museum, I'm John Bartel. Hope to see you on the back roads.
And thank you for watching ABC 10 This Week. Remember, we're here for you 24/7 on the free ABC 10 streaming app. You can watch your local news, weather, and original stories anytime, anywhere. I'm Walt Gray. Take care. We'll see you next time.
And remember, the ABC 10 Weather Impact team is always here for you 24/7. Get the latest conditions anytime with our live 24/7 radar on our free TV streaming app. Just scan the QR code for easy instructions to download the ABC 10 app wherever you stream ABC 10.